Hello everybody, and welcome to the first video on my new channel, The Astronaut. And I figured I'd choose a topic for this video that wasn't too difficult with the right instructions. So I chose Polynomial Long Division. Okay, well that sounds scary and everything. It's not too bad. Well, the second way isn't. The second way is really easy. Okay, but we're just gonna go ahead and get started here. Okay, so I've really badly written out an equation here, and I also put an acronym, basically. The acronym is Discovering Math Solutions Brings Rewards, okay? And that stands for division, multiplication, subtraction, bring, repeat. Okay, now I gotta look over my notes real quick. So with this equation, what we need to do first is divide. That's the first step. Divide. Oops, on the wrong layer. There we go. Divide. And what we're going to do first is divide the divisor, I believe, by the dividend, but only the first section of the dividend. Okay? I think I have those words right. I'm not 100% sure. Anyways, we need to divide. I'm sorry, I'm really bad at drawing, but I learned with visuals, so I figured show you guys. Okay, 2x. That's what we're dividing. 2x to the third, which is what that's supposed to be, by 2x, which will give us. Man, I'm bad. Hold on a second. Let me try using my mouse instead of just my trackpad. See if that helps at all. That's not supposed to make a noise. Okay. Okay. And sorry about the fireworks going off. I chose to do this on the worst day. But anyways, that'll give us x to the third, because these two just cancel out. It gives us x to the third divided by x, or we prefer x to the first, because there's only one x here. That and if you remember from earlier lessons, if you're being taught this, when you're dividing just exponents, this expression gets turned into this expression. I'm just checking my notes to make sure I've got this all right. So bear with me here, and my bad drawing skills. I'm really bad at drawing, especially on the computer. Okay, x to the 3 minus first power. And of course, 3 minus 1 is just 2. So that's what you come out with. Which means if we start writing our answer up here, we're going to go ahead and put x squared up there. Okay. Now, let's try and get rid of this. That needs to be much bigger. That's better. That's more like it. Okay. It reset all my settings when I reopened it. Now, the next step is multiplication. So there's not actually any multiplication that needs to be done here, is there? Yes, there is. I'm sorry. Multiplication. Okay, we are always going to be using this number, or this expression here, in each step. Well, except bring. Bring is different. Bring is weird. So we have 2x. Okay, what are we multiplying? We are multiplying just to make sure that this number, or this expression, is correct. So, we're going to multiply this times this, okay, squared, which, if you would bring the 2 over, so you've got 2 already, 2x, and you've got x1 times x2. And again, from earlier lessons on this topic, we know that when you're multiplying exponents, gosh, my brain, it is x to the 1 plus 2 power, which gives us x to the third, which means that it's correct, because we get the same expression, right? I keep saying number. We get the same expression here as we did as we have here, with this new, with these new numbers. So we know that that is correct. Forget to give me the eraser. We know that x squared is the first answer piece. Okay. The next one is subtraction, which would technically be just this, just to cancel that out. Okay. Then bring this down. Okay. That gives us minus 10x. Repeat, which brings us back to division. Always come to division. Okay. Now, I obviously didn't leave myself the correct notes. Wait, no, I did. I'm happy I left myself the correct notes. Okay, so the second part of the answer we need to do the same thing, of course, because that's repeat. Bear with me, guys. So we have minus 10x, because it's negative, so we see from right there, minus 10x divided by 2x. Oh my gosh, I wrote the equation wrong. Oh my gosh. There's supposed to be a squared sign there. I am so sorry. I should have double-checked that. Oops. The rest of the equation is correct. That's why, because I wrote it incorrectly the first time on my notes. Okay. I'm going to fix that later. Okay, 2x. We've got our division problem now. What did we do last time? Last time, since they were both 2's, since both variables were 2's, or both, both constants were 2's, which means that they would just cancel out. In this case, we have a minus 10 and a positive 2, which means they're not going to cancel out. Unfortunately, because that would be awesome, and it'd be nice and clean. But the first thing we're going to do, we need to mess with the constants. So we're just going to draw a line there and deal with these guys first. So minus 10 divided by 2 equals what? Well, that is slanted, and that's not supposed to be slanted. Equals what? Man, I can't draw. Well, 10 divided by 2 is 5. So if it's minus 10 divided by 2, it's just going to be minus 5. So now we have our constant. Okay. We have minus 5 here. Now we just need to deal with the variables. We've got x squared divided by x, or x to the first if you prefer. Okay. That, from the last equation we did, we now know that we do x to the second minus first power, okay, which leaves us with just x, or x to the first, which means that with these two answers combined, we have minus 5x, or minus 5x to the first. Normally, you don't put that. You don't put the first. So we put minus 5 up here. Minus 5x, excuse me. And now we erase all this, because we don't want it. Okay. Now, the multiplication step. Multiplication is just to check it. Okay? Always good to check your work. Okay? So, we're going to take 2x times minus 5x. What does that give us? Okay, let's go with just the constants first. 2 times minus 5. What is 2 times 5 is 10, okay? So 2 times minus 5 is just going to be minus 10. It's exactly the opposite of what we just did a moment ago to get minus 5. Okay, then we deal with the variables. Okay, we got x times x. Or it's x to the first times x to the first. And we know from the first section of this equation that when you're multiplying exponents, because the variables are identical, you don't mess with them. In this case, because they're already combined to numbers, we get x to the first plus the first power, which gives us x to the second. And with these answers combined, we get minus 10x squared. Okay, exactly what we have over there. That was a really bad arrow. So we know that minus 5x is correct. Okay. So now we bring it down. Okay, bring it down. Subtraction, or subtraction is an x rather. Okay, so we got minus 10x. And we just want to cancel those out. That's all we're doing here. Minus 10x. Cancel them out. It's really, that'd become plus because it's double negative. Doesn't matter. They cancel out, which gives us just another 0. Next, we bring down our final piece of the puzzle here, which is positive 18. That's a really bad 8. I can do better than that. 18x. Now let me just make sure with my notes that it's supposed to be positive and it's just x. It is just x. Okay. Now, we repeat. We always repeat until we get to the end, of course. Division. First step is division. So we get 18x. That's really bad. I am sorry. I am sorry you guys have to put up with this. 18x divided by 2x. Just like in the other ones, we're going to start with the constants first. So we got 18 divided by 2. What is half of 18? Well, that's easy. It's 9. 9 times 2 is 18. 9. So that's our constant number. Now, x divided by x. Well, write this way to make it simpler. Divided by x to the first. And like we've said numerous times now, when you're dividing exponents, you subtract them. So we get x to the first minus the first exponent, which makes it cancel out, which means there is no x. X does not exist in this section anymore. So we end up with just 9. Positive 9, mind you. Okay, now we have to check it, of course. Always got to check it. Okay, to check it, we're going to do, whoops, that's a bad 2. Looks more like a 0. 2x times 9. Okay, let's go with the constants. Like I said a moment ago, 9 times 2 is 18. Okay, so that's 18 there. And then since there's no variable here, okay, there's no variable here on 9. This x, that's bad. This x just gets brought over to here, which gives us 18x, which is exactly what we had here. And if you want to get technical, you just subtract 18x from over here just to make it cancel out. That's an x and a y. Cancel it out, just give you a 0 down here, just so you know it's nice and clean. You don't have to do that though. That's not required. I want you to redo that. So we know now that this is our answer. Okay? What's the next step? Okay, there's one more step. After you've gotten your final answer, before you know it is your final answer, you're going to go with this one. You got to check it. Always got to check it. Always got to check it. Okay, so just run the numbers back through, I guess. I didn't write down how to check it. But when you check it, the numbers do come out correct. Well, actually, you don't have to check it. We did that. Never mind. I'm being dumb again. We just checked it. We know that when you multiply 2x by x squared, you come out with 2x to the third. We checked that. Okay, we know that when you multiply 2x by negative 5x, if I can write x, 5x, gives us negative 10x squared. And finally, we know that 2x times 9 gives us 18x, which are our 3 original numbers. Okay, so that is the normal way you do polynomial long division. Okay, the other way I mentioned at the very beginning of this video is called synthetic polynomial division, and it's even easier than that. Okay, this equation says solve using synthetic polynomial division. I just whacked my computer. Okay, the equation is 2x to the third minus 3x to the second minus 12x minus 16 divided by x minus 4. Now, give me a second. Turn to my own notes so I can just make sure I'm doing this right, because it's written down here. Okay, there it is. Step 1 is to identify the opposite of the constant term in the divisor, I believe. Okay, whether I'm right about the divisor or not, it's this one. Gosh dang it. I could select. Nope, that's not the layer I wanted. That's what I wanted. Okay. That's what we're finding the opposite of, like I just said. Find the opposite of the constant term in this, okay? Whatever this is. This is the same as of 2x over here. The same thing, okay? That would go over there in the other problem. So, find the opposite of the constant term. X is a variable, not a constant term, which means minus 4 is a constant term. Find the opposite, so that's going to make it positive 4. Okay? Put that over here. Okay? Then we draw a little box here to separate it. Now, second step is to list the coefficients. Okay? Like I just said, x is a variable, not a constant, not a coefficient. Okay? So x doesn't get counted here in this entire thing until the very end. Now, what I wrote down doesn't really make much sense. Regardless, let's see if we can work through this anyways. The coefficients, if I can speak, the coefficients rather, are these numbers here. The 2, the minus 3, the minus 12, and the minus 16. Okay, so we're going to take these numbers and bring them down here, okay? I don't want to put that there because I don't know if I need that space or not. So we go 2, and then we have minus 3, minus 12, and minus 16. Just line them up. Okay? Now, the first number here just gets brought down. Okay? And then here's an equation bar. It just gets brought down, and there's 2. Now, let me just... Where'd my calculator go? My calculator disappeared. That's not good. Oh, there it is. Okay. Let me just check myself here, just to make sure I'm doing this right. Yep, okay. So what we're going to do here, what's next, is this. We take this number here. As far as I know, it doesn't officially have a name. I'm not quite sure what to call it. We're taking the boxed number, that's what I'm going to call it, with this first term here. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to multiply them. Okay, so we're going to take this number, whatever it is, in this case 4, times this number, 2, which is, of course, is going to give us 8. I'm really bad with 8s. Okay, then we put that 8 up here. Okay, now, that didn't work. No. I am sorry, my calculator is being obnoxious. That didn't work either. What? How did I get that? Okay, now I've confused myself, and I'm supposed to explain this to you. It's really easy with the right instructions. Okay? Really easy. The only thing I said is step 3, solve the synthetic division process, and some numbers. Okay? So, I kind of messed up. Oh, wait a minute. No, that's not right either. Dang it. I had it right the first time. Okay. I am so sorry. I messed this up big time. Okay. What we're going to do now is this. We have minus 3 and we have 8. We're just going to add them. That gives us 5. Minus 3 plus 8 equals 5. Now we're going to do the same thing as we did with the 4 and the 2 here. We can go 4 times 5, which equals, if I can draw things, times 5 equals 20. That 20 gets brought up and put over here now. Okay, 20. Add the minus 12 and the 20, and you're going to come out with just 8. Another 8. Now we do 4 times 8, which equals 32. I should probably write it here, 32. That gets brought up one more time, 32. We add those two, and that gives us 16. Now you've got these numbers. What do we do next? Well, this is what we do next. We bring them down here, and we put x on all the terms that are supposed to have an x on them. Okay? That is funky. Hold on a minute. Okay. Let's try and solve this together now, because now I'm confused too. That has x twice. It has an x squared on it. It had an x3 here. Okay, so we're just lopping off an x. I see. Okay, we're lopping off an x of each one of them. Okay, and then this is now positive, so it's going to be plus 5x plus 8 plus, this is what got me confused a minute ago, because I just saw it and it was really, really small. This 16 had no x originally. There's no x. So what do we do with it? We're trying to lop off an x with each one, but we can't with this one because there isn't one to take off. So what we do is this. Why? I can't say. I don't know why. But this is what we do. Put the number there. We put it over this number. Bring this makes a reoccurrence down here, so you know what you divided by. Boom. And that is your final answer. Right there. The only way to check this is to go back and remultiply it out and re-add it out. Okay, until you get this. And like I said up here, with the exponents, you're just taking off one exponent each time. And then this one, the final term. Okay, the final term. Always the final term. I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe that if there was another term between the between the x and the 8 and the 16 here, there was another term there, it would end up just like the 8, with just an addition. Okay? But because there's not another term there, and 16 was the final term, also the term that had no x originally, it got the divisor put underneath it. Sorry this was so confusing to both of us, to all of us, and hopefully it'll go smoother next time, and I'll actually be able to draw better next time, hopefully. Thank you for suffering through this with me, and see you next time. Thank you.